And welcome, sports fans, to today's Roundtable, and glad you joined us. We are right at the end of the fall sports season as the football season is coming to an end, especially for most of our local teams in the area. Only one team surviving in football so far. That is the Jackson Indians. We will cover as far as they go over the next few weeks in the Class 5 state tournament, but pretty much all of our other teams have completed their seasons. Certainly a number of these have had some great seasons this fall and starting to make that transition to the winter sports season now. We're going to give you a recap of the state tournament games that took place this last week here in Missouri and Arkansas, including the Harmony Grove and PIGGOTT game that we brought to you last week. We'll give you a final update on that, as well as Jackson's upcoming game in the semifinal round coming up this weekend. And also, we're going to give you a heads up on our broadcast schedule here at YHC. Our basketball broadcast schedule has been released, and we'll give you an update on that as well. So we'll give you an inside look at the games that we'll be bringing to you here on YHC this season. So we'll touch on that as well. And we'll be looking into the winter sports season. That means high school basketball and a whole lot of it to come to you here on YHC TV. So let's go ahead and get into our show for today. Let's touch on the games from last week that we want to bring you up to date on. And in high school football, in the Class 3 quarterfinals, the Kent Indians advanced with a forfeit championship victory of St. Mary's in their district championship game. Did not take place on the 13th. So back in action in the quarterfinal round up in St. Louis. Had to make that long trip up to St. Louis to take on Cardinal Ritter, and the Kent Indians fell to the Cardinal Ritter Lions 45-7 in that quarterfinal matchup. And quite a good team there in Cardinal Ritter once again this year, as Kennett faced them 2 years ago in the same round in the quarterfinals. They meet up again this year, and Kennett come up a little short against these Lions. Whole lot of speed out of these Lions, and we talked about on last week's roundtable that Kennett would have to score early and to keep pace with the Lions, because Cardinal Ritter was capable of putting up a lot of points with the speed that they've got, and Kennett's certainly got the weapon in Jordan Jarrett to keep pace with the Lions. Just couldn't get going. They had one scoring drive there in the first half, but it was only a 13-7 game at half. Very manageable at that point, so they certainly kept it really competitive early on. But in the second half, that's where Cardinal Ritter really turned it on. Went up 45-7. Scoring 45-7 in the end, but I think it was a late touchdown that really put it up to 45. But still, yet Cardinal Ritter's quarterback, his name escapes me for the moment. He had a big game, over 400 yards passing, 7 touchdowns on the day for their quarterback, and it's a big day for any quarterback at any level, but certainly at the high school level. And that's a lot of talent on that field. We saw a lot of speed on the field once again for Cardinal Ritter, one of the top wide receivers in the country for the Cardinal Ritter Lions. And Kennett just fell down, just couldn't really get things going in that second half. And Cardinal Ritter really opened up in the second half offensively and come away with that victory. So Kennett's season comes to an end. Another fine season from Joel White and the Indians. It was a pleasure following them and broadcasting their games here on YHC once again this year. And it's been a great run for this Indians football program, and it just continues to thrive year in and year out. So an undefeated season going into the weekend, only one loss on the year, which could be to the eventual state champion in Cardinal Ritter. We'll see, but certainly a tough team with a chance to compete for a state championship does Cardinal Ritter. So that brings it into the Kennett season, another fine season, and wish them the best of luck going forward. And other games to remind you of from the weekend. We've got some soccer to report on. It's right here. Let's see here. Hold on. And we got high school soccer, the Class 4 state championship the Jackson Indians were in the state championships in the Class 4 soccer tournament and come away with a victory, an overtime victory of 1-0 against St. Dominic. And what a run that was for Jackson to finish off that state championship season here in the fall. So one state championship is in the books for the Jackson Indians, competing for another in football. But this soccer team, very competitive this year, had a great run, and certainly a competitive state championship match with St. Dominic going into overtime, scoreless, but getting that victory in overtime against St. Dominic says a whole lot about that Jackson soccer team. We also saw Notre Dame in the mix there in Class 3. They come up a bit short in their state championship game, but Jackson winning theirs, I wouldn't say decisively, but it was a close one, going into overtime and getting that thriller championship match in the rain. It was pouring down rain in that championship match, and they came out on top. So Jackson, an impressive fall soccer season for the boys soccer program, coming away with that state championship. So always exciting if a local team comes away with a state championship. That's the second local team with a state championship now. The advanced volleyball team in Class 1 securing its third straight state championship in volleyball. So advanced volleyball, Jackson soccer, boys soccer. So we'll see what else can come about. But it's only the Jackson football team in the mix going forward. So we'll see. But two state championship teams in the fall so far, not bad at all, and a great season to cap off Jackson's boys soccer program with a state championship. Congratulations to the Indians. And in other matchups, in the game that we brought to you last Friday night, Harmony Grove and Piggott. Piggott season comes to an end with that heartbreaking victory to Harmony Grove, 28-24. As we covered that last week on the roundtable, Piggott had a great season, finishing second in its conference, just coming up a bit short to Harmony Grove at home. They're only their second home playoff game ever in its program, and I think it was 20 years since the last one. But Piggott having a great season. They finished strong. Just Harmony Grove really turned it on that second half, and Piggott unable to get going in the second half, held scoreless in that second half. But another fine season by the Piggott Mohawks there in Arkansas. And in other games, Jackson defeated Chaminade in that last Friday night matchup in that quarterfinal matchup, 63-22. No problem for the Jackson Indians once again. They advance on to the state semifinals and looking to get back to that state championship game where they lost a year ago in overtime. But have a great shot at coming away with a state championship this year, and looking really strong so far. Nobody's really challenged them, but we'll see what their next game looks like in our next segment. So we're going to take a quick break and be back with more. We're going to talk about some classic YHC broadcasts we're going to bring to you this weekend. Since we're not doing a game this weekend, we want to bring you some classic YHC broadcasts and some state tournament games in high school football. We'll touch on that. Also, the YHC football schedule that we're bringing to you, YHC basketball schedule we're bringing to you this year. We'll have that for you coming up.
This is more than a bundle. It's more than a combo deal. It's not just stuff. This is your home, your car, and you want to give them the protection they deserve with home and auto insurance. State Farm agents get it. It's why they're here.
In Dexter, talk to State Farm agent Chris Brannon today.
Coming soon, the Harry Blackwell family of dealers will launch the future of automotive buying in Southeast Missouri.
And welcome back, and let's give you an update on some headlines from the area this week, and taking on, speaking of Kennett's season coming to an end. Ran up into a great team in Carter-Ritter over the last weekend, as their season comes to an end. Kennett had another fine season, going undefeated through its regular season and winning the district championship via forfeit from St. Mary's, so moved on to the quarterfinal round and took that loss to Carter-Ritter on the road up in St. Louis. But another fine season from Joel White and the Indians, and saw a lot of great football out of the Indians this year, and certainly from Jordan Jarrett, star running back, Bodie Ellis quarterback, those linebackers, Tanner Duncan, Jake Stewart, had a great run this year, and just a shame that it came to an end, but really good team out of Carter-Ritter, and moving on to that semifinal round. But Kennett finishing another strong season this year. Always a privilege to go down there to Metz Cherry Stadium to bring those games, and hopefully you enjoyed those here on YHC this season. And we talked about Notre Dame falling in their Class 3 title game, and they lost to Fort Zumwalt South 3-0. So Notre Dame comes away with second place in the Class 3 soccer tournament. No shame in that, and they look good going forward with that Notre Dame soccer program. And Jackson wins the state championship over St. Dominic. Awesome that they were able to do that and pull that out in overtime and in the rain nonetheless. But Jackson, one of those schools that's been very competitive across the board in all their sports. Certainly the football team leads the way, but at this point it's the soccer team. Soccer team's won a state championship, and Jackson's still looking for that elusive football state championship that they've been so close so many times. But the soccer team getting it done in the boys program this fall. And in high school basketball news, we talked about this last week. The annual Poplar Bluff Showdown has been canceled. Poplar Bluff schools releasing that last week due to 5 of the 8 teams that are in the tournament dropped out. They bring in a lot of schools out of state, so due to the pandemic, a lot of this travel across state lines is really kind of taboo when it comes to schools and their extracurricular travels. So that certainly was going to be a barrier for the Poplar Bluff Showdown staying on as scheduled. But that is the case. It is canceled for this year, and Poplar Bluff will go and play in the Rolla Christmas tournament up north. So a little change there around Christmas tournament time, but just unfortunate that were to happen, but not really all that surprised with as many teams that they bring from out of state. So, more news there. Poplar Bluff Showdown canceled for this season. And let's talk about some broadcasts we're going to bring to you this weekend for this Thanksgiving weekend here on YHC. Friday we showed some of these broadcasts, but Saturday, we've got the Western versus Hayti Class 1 semifinal from 2018. Remember 2 years ago where Hayti went on with an undefeated season that was one of the most dominant runs we've ever seen in high school football. And that was the case 2 years ago in Hayti. If you remember Ivory Winters and the great roster that they had there in Hayti. And you can watch that Class 1 state semifinal game. We were down there to broadcast that there 2 years ago. And actually 2 years ago this weekend, actually. So you can watch that from 2 years ago, Saturday at 7:30. You can catch it right here on Channel 21. And we've even got it uploaded to YHCTV.com. You can go to our Facebook page and watch it as well. So check out that Western and Hayti game from 2 years ago in 2018. Also, we're going to step back in time 5 years ago to 2015, the Malden and Carter-Ritter Class 2 quarterfinal that went into 3 overtimes. And what a game this was up in St. Louis at Carter-Ritter High School, where Malden advanced on from this quarterfinal, eventually went on to the state championship and lost to Lamar to finish second in the state. But this was a thriller in the quarterfinal round where the Green Wave advanced in triple overtime over the Carter-Ritter Lions. And you can catch that here Saturday at 3 p.m. this afternoon. You can also go online to our website at YHCTV.com. We'll have it there, and our Facebook and YouTube pages. So check that out. That Malden and Carter-Ritter broadcast from 2015. That was a good one as well. And we're going to take one more break, and when we come back, we're going to take a look at our YHC basketball broadcast schedule for this season. We'll be getting underway with games just this next week. And we'll be back with that coming up.
If you or your loved one has disabilities that cause you to need a little help, Boot Hill Area Independent Living Services can provide the assistance you need. At Bales, we want you to have control of your life and assist you in thriving in an independent lifestyle. The Consumer-Directed Services Program allows you, the consumer, to choose who assists you in conducting your daily activities. Bales serves Stoddard, Dunklin, New Madrid, and Pemiscot counties. Call or visit our office in Kennett to see how we can help you maintain your independence.
A few days ago, we had a customer come by the Kennett dealership looking for a new truck. I had a really good visit with Phil and our salesman. Phil had his Army t-shirt and Army cap on, retired military. We're so proud of our troops, our active and veterans like Phil. Phil left in his new truck. We all enjoyed the visit. Best price, best service. Glenn Sane, God bless our troops.
And welcome back. And before we go to our broadcast schedule, we want to give you an update on Jackson's state tournament run is continuing now into the semifinal round, as we see here in the Class 5 state tournament in high school football. Jackson will take on Fort Zumwalt North this Saturday in the semifinals, looking to advance on to the state championship game, as they will take on the winner of Webb City. If they were to advance, take on the winner of Webb City and Platte County. Now, Webb City in the last round defeated Carthage, who are the defending Class 5 state champions. So some tough games ahead for Jackson if they were to win that state championship, but they're going to be right there in the mix for the chance. And it starts with the semifinal matchup with Fort Zumwalt North this Saturday. And now let's take a look at our broadcast schedule for here on YHC. Let's take a look at those games we've got coming up for this season. And starting off this next Thursday, December 3rd, we've got the Campbell Invitational Tournament Finals. We'll be there for those finals Thursday night. We believe that will be the schedule for Thursday night. And then the next night, Friday night, we got Mullen at Dexter in the Dexter Bearcat Event Center. Then the next week on December 7th, we got Mullen at Campbell in the Boot Hill Conference. Then Clarkton at Bernie on the 8th. Then head to the 14th, Crowley's Ridge Academy at Piggott down in Arkansas. Then the 15th, Jackson at Dexter in the SEMO Conference. Also another SEMO Conference matchup on the 18th, Charleston at Dexter. Then December 26th through the 30th, the Bloomfield Christmas Tournament. Once again, all 26 games. Then into 2021, we've got January 2nd, Farmington at Kennett. That's a Saturday afternoon broadcast. Then on the 4th, Rector at Holcomb. Then we'll have on the 5th, January 5th, New Madrid County Central at Kennett in the SEMO Conference. And also that week on the 8th, another SEMO Conference matchup, Jackson at Kennett. Then on the 11th, Zenith at Clarkton. Then Clarkton at Risco in the Tri-County Conference. Then down in Northeast Arkansas, we got on the 14th, Rector at Piggott. Then the Stoddard County rivalry, Dexter at Bernie on the 15th. Then Woodland at Dexter also in the Stoddard County. And staying in the Stoddard County on the 19th, Bloomfield at Bernie. Then on the 21st, South Pemiscot at Campbell in the Boot Hill Conference. On the 22nd, a SEMO Conference matchup, Dexter at New Madrid County Central. Then on the 26th, the Tri-County Conference matchup, Risco at Gideon. On the 28th, Mullen at Kennett in Dunklin County. And 29th, we got New Madrid County Central at Portageville. Then on Saturday the 30th, if that indeed is the case, it could be on Friday, but we're looking at Saturday right now, the final night of the Stoddard County Activity Association Tournament, and that'll be in Bloomfield this year. And on February 2nd, North Pemiscot at Risco in the Tri-County. February 4th, Bloomfield at Holcomb. On the 5th, we got the Boot Hill Conference Finals, and we believe that is in that tournament is in Campbell this year. Then on the February 9th, Zenith at Kennett down in Dunklin County. February 12th, Kennett at Dexter in the SEMO Conference. On February 16th, East Prairie at Malden. Then on the 18th, we got Cape Central at Kennett in the SEMO Conference. Then on the 23rd, Dexter at Notre Dame, also a SEMO Conference matchup. And of course, we'll have district and state tournament games that will come about there in late February and March. And those will will be to determine. So that's our broadcast schedule for this season. Very exciting to get started. Certainly the pandemic will be a challenge to get all these games in for all the teams. We were fortunate to pretty much get all of our games in the fall for our football broadcast schedule. Hopefully that'll be the same here for basketball, but some more challenges for basketball being indoors and enclosed. So hopefully those challenges will be met sufficiently, and all the games can get in certainly safely and with all the kids' best interests in mind. So hopefully that'll all pan out for this season, and hopefully we'll be able to bring all those games to you right here on YHC Channel 21, as well as YHCTV.com and all of our online platforms. So look forward to that going forward. And that's going to bring it into our show for today, and we appreciate you for tuning in. Hopefully you're enjoying your Thanksgiving weekend. We've got some classic YHC football games to bring to you this weekend, and then rolling right into our basketball schedule for this next week, starting on the 3rd with the Campbell Invitational Tournament Final. Hopefully you'll tune in for that next week as we make our transition into basketball season. And that's all we got for you for today's roundtable, and we look forward to seeing you next time. And until then, I'm Tyler Wagner. Have yourself a great Thanksgiving weekend, and we'll see you next time.